Michio Kaku, Physics of the Future. Chapter 1, Introduction. Predicting the next 100 years. Michio Kaku writes, when I was a child, two experiences helped to shape the person I am today, and spawned two passions that have helped to define my life. First, when I was 8 years old, I remember all the teachers bustling with the latest news that a great scientist had just died. That night, the newspapers printed a picture of his office with an unfinished manuscript of his work. The caption read, "The greatest scientist of our era could not finish his greatest masterpiece." What, I asked myself, could be so difficult that such a great scientist could not finish it? What could possibly be that complicated and that important? To me, eventually, this became more fascinating than any other thing. Later, I found out the name of that scientist was the beautiful Albert Einstein, and the unfinished manuscript was to be his crowning achievement, his attempt to create a theory of everything, an equation no more than 1 inch wide that would unlock the secrets of the universe and perhaps allow him to perceive the mind of God. But the other pivotal experience from my childhood was when I watched the Saturday morning TV show, especially the Flash Gordon series with Buster Crabbe. Every week, my nose was glued to the TV screen. I was magically transported to a beautiful world of space aliens, starships, gun rays, underwater cities, and monsters. I was hooked. This was my first exposed to the world of the future. Ever since, I felt a childlike wonder when pondering the future. But what then? After watching every episode of the series, I began to realize that although Flash got all the credit, it was the scientist Dr. Zarkov who actually made the series work. He invented the rocket ship, the invisibility shield, the power source for the city, etc. Without the scientist, there is no future. The handsome and the beautiful may earn the admiring of society, but all the wondrous inventions of the future are a byproduct of science. Later, when I was in high school, I decided to follow in the footsteps of these great scientists and put some of my learning to the test. I wanted to be part of this great, beautiful revolution that I knew would change the world. I decided to build an atom smasher. I asked my mother for permission to build a 2.3 million electron volt particle accelerator in the garage. Michio Kaku writes, she was a bit startled but gave me the okay. Then I went to Westinghouse and Varian Associates, got 400 pounds of transformer steel and 22 miles of copper wire and assembled a Betatron accelerator in my mom's garage. Previously, I had built a cloud chamber with a powerful magnetic field vaporizer and photographed tracks of antimatter. But photographing antimatter was not enough. My goal now was to produce a beam of antimatter. This atom smasher's magnetic coils successfully produced a huge 1000-watt Gauss magnetic field, about 20,000 times more powerful than a house, which would in principle be enough to rip a hammer right out of your hand. The machine soaked up 6 kilowatts of power, draining all the electricity in my house and leaving us powerless. Later that day, when I turned on the machine, I frequently blew out all the fuses in my house. He writes, my poor mother must have wondered why she could not have a son who played football instead.